Namaste, Namaskaram, Vanakkam, Namo Namaha, Jai Ganesha. So this podcast is a bit sorrowful. This is an ode, an honor to our ashram cat Kuchala, Yogi Guru Kuchala. So to all of you out there who are grieving over the loss of a loved one, and yes, it's difficult to lose our human companions, but it's extremely difficult also for those of us that love our pets to lose our animal Vahanas, if you will. Perhaps because they seem so innocent, and if you have a gentle pet, so gentle and so loving, and actually throughout their lives so dependent on you, and they need you and you need them, and they give you great lessons in life of love and patience and loyalty. So as Hindus, we know we are the Atmana of love and light and energy, Satchitananda, with a body, mind, and emotions. And we know that the body, mind, and emotions is temporary, for sure, and it will come and go as we go through the cycles of samsara, reincarnation. But yet we still grieve. And we grieve because we do have this body and the mind and the emotions, but it is those emotions, sorrowful as they can be, that also help us to tap into the true bliss of the Atmana. So our outer emotions, our outer love, our outer ecstasies are really signposts and necessary to point us ultimately into the divine bliss within, the Ananda, the Satchit Ananda. So it's going to be very natural to grieve, and never deny this part of your being. Everyone must go through that. They must go through the grieving process. It's very healthy to do. It's not easy, but it's very important to do, and then we fully play that out, and then we will reach a state of loving detachment. No longer is the sorrow as deep. I remember when my Mataji passed away over 17 years ago now. I think I cried every day for 6 months. And now, all these years later, profound memories are there, the joy is there, and the love, but no longer is that deep sorrow there. That's one of the beautiful messages of why we do forget. Because think if we held on to the intense sorrows constantly, we just would not be able to go on. And some of you have heard the classic story of a Swami teaching his disciples about the Atmana, teaching Vedanta and non-duality, and the fact, Tattvamasi, that we are the soul, and this is a temporary body, mind, and emotions. And so the Swami's mother died, and the Swami was crying. And his disciples were a little bit shocked. So, Swamiji, I thought you told us that this body was just temporary and that it's ultimately an illusion. He says, it's not really an illusion. It's a Mayic illusion while you're going through it, right? But it is a powerful illusion while we do go through it. So this is the humanity of taking on this physical body, of realizing that it brings with it all the joy and the sorrow. And those are signposts of the innate joy and bliss that's within us as the Atmana. So go through your grieving processes and just know that there's millions of people going through it this very moment for their loved ones, both animal and human. And learn the lessons from the grieving process, because it brings out the softness, it brings out the gentleness, So therein is a tremendous lesson of the grieving process. It softens us up, gets us out of our hard ego, out of all those nasty things we do when we're not in that grieving process. The grief helps to soften us again. Remember, to get a diamond, you start with a rough piece of coal, and through pressure and intensity, you get the diamond. Through the pressure and intensity of life, the joys and the sorrows, it refines the soul to brilliance. So as we grieve the loss of our loved ones, take a reality check. Stop and think a moment. And really be sad over losing ones that are still living. Don't let our ego get in the way of healing past confusions, misunderstandings, before it's too late, before we truly lose our loved ones in the physical plane. Reach out, heal those wounds, and use that same love that you feel when you're grieving the physical loss, and use that love to inspire you to recapture that love you have for those that are still living. For at any moment, this physical life can be taken away from us. So our divine little ashram Vahana, Yogi Guru Kuchala, he passed on the auspicious day of Father's Day, June 18th, 2023. And so let me tell you a little bit about our history together. So my Mataji, she passed on in 2007. And 2 years before that, 2005, my Pita passed away. And I was honored to be with both of them right to the very end, took care of them in the home, and watched their Atmanas leave their physical body in a very natural, beautiful way. So after 6 months of mourning my Mataji, I went into a little store where a woman also had cats that she had adopted and raised and sold. And there was one that came right up to me in the cage, and his name was Junior, and he was a year old. And so the lady said, "Oh, take him out." And I took him out, put him on the floor. He just walked right up to me and just snuggled right next to me. So I knew that was the one. So I brought now Kuchala into the ashram because now he became a Hindu. So this is very typical. When one becomes a member of any of the religions of the world, they take on a name synonymous with that religion. So he became Kuchala. And Kuchala is an interesting word. It's actually a hot brown spice, very typical in Trinidad. And Kuch also means little one in Hindi, Kuchwala. And humorously, Kuch is also pooch with a K for kitten. So Kuchala was a very hot, spicy little boy. Very healthy his whole life. He actually was never sick until the very end. And when he was young, he was very athletic. We would sit on the floor and I'd take a wad of tinfoil and throw it at him, and he'd bat it back to me, and he loved to play, and we'd wrestle sometimes. I'd put on a heavy coat and he'd grab my arm and we'd wrestle around a little bit. Just boy play. And then as he matured, he stopped doing that, and in the last few years of his life, those things never interested him anymore as he reached his sannyas period of life. But he was truly a yogi because he never really left the ashram at all. Imagine that. 16 years, because he was a year old when I got him, so he was 17 when he passed. So 16 years of living in the ashram. And he was perfectly happy and content with dry food and water, and relished it every single day, had a great appetite, loved to eat and drink. So this is truly epitomizing what the yogi is, the true renunciate. And obviously he was a celibate. So he truly was a yogi, and he was also a guru, because for those of you that met him and listening to talks about him, he taught us so much about always being there, loyalty. Every single time I came into the ashram, he would be right up and come to see me and greet those who came into the ashram, never turning away anyone. What a wonderful lesson for all of us, to put aside our egos and just be fully accepting. This is one of the hallmarks of being a Hindu, hospitality, always welcoming people into your home. And Kuchi epitomized that. So in honor of divine little Kuchala, here's a little song that I'll try to sing for you. Divine little Kuchala, Kuchi, Kuchi, Kuchila, divine little Vahana, you have shown us nothing else but love. Thank you for being a friend, from the very beginning to the end. May we all learn this vital lesson. 16 years in the ashram, greeting everyone who comes. You have shown us nothing else but love. Thank you for all these teachings, showing love and light and energy, and contentment, patience, Om Shanti. Best wishes on your next journey, as love and light and energy. Om. So remember, in the Hindu yoga, the Dharma, our devatas, devas, and devis, they love their Vahanas, and the Vahanas love them. So let them teach us this vital lesson. And never forget, we are that soul of love and light and energy with a very temporary body, mind, and emotions. So let's not waste time. Time is more precious than rubies. And let not our petty thoughts and emotions cloud our inner vision. Love, light, and energy, Om, this are we, with emotions, mind, and body. Thank you so much, Yogi Guru Kuchala. And thank all of you who respected him throughout the years. So may we honor him by being a united Hindu family. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.